What's going on, everybody? David here. I am doing my first live stream. Really, it's my second live stream because the first live stream, the audio was all messed up. So, working on my internet connection. Hopefully, it's better this time. I kind of lowered some of the settings, so I'm hoping that this turns out okay. So, we have three major things that I want to talk about today, and then I will actually two major things. Well, three major things. The very end, though, I want to talk about Thailand, my trip to Thailand, and I haven't gone there yet, but I set it up and everything, so I just wanted to show you how much money I spent. But first off, I want to talk about basic how I got to the Travel Explore Click blog, and then why I'm doing this channel, and give you just a little bit of insight on me. So I started taking pictures, photography about 10 years ago, and it was funny because when you start photography, you just want to take pictures of everything, and that's the way I was. I wanted to go everywhere and take pictures, but I was mainly local. So I was in Los Angeles taking pictures locally, and I was happy with that for about a year and a half. Then after that, then you start thinking, okay, well, I'd like to go to, and one of the things that motivates you too is that once you start getting into that whole photography space, then you go and you're always looking for different pictures. It's like, oh, I want to take a picture at Yosemite, or I want to take a picture in Hawaii, or I want to take a picture. So it starts really sparking the travel bug in you, and so that's what happened with me. So I started taking pictures, and then all of a sudden I was just taking pictures in LA, and then I wanted to take pictures in Las Vegas, and then I wanted to go to a national park, and then I wanted to go to Hawaii, then I wanted to go to Puerto Rico. So I wanted to go to all these different areas, these different places. And so the photography is what started my whole travel bug, and the exploration. I wanted to explore. When you have a camera, you want to go and take unique pictures. And I started getting into competitions, photography competitions, where I was submitting my work. And one of the things that, when you're being judged, and I always go to the judging sessions, but when you're being judged, a lot of the judges they want to see something new. They want to see something different. Or if it's something that's an old, or I shouldn't say old, but like a traditional shot of the Eiffel Tower, they want to see a different perspective. They don't want to see something that everyone takes. Just like if you go to, even if you go to Yosemite or you go to a national park, there are these areas that are the, what do they call them? The scenic, like a scenic lookout point. They don't want pictures from there. They want pictures that are unique, that are different, that we've never seen before. So even if it's an iconic place, they still want to see something unique. And so that's what really started sparking my wanting to explore more and go into these different areas, these different places, but finding unique shots. And then finally, the travel aspect of actually getting there. That was the hardest part, because you spend a lot of money on your camera gear, and I've spent a lot of money over the years just in getting all this camera gear. And then you start doing all the research, and you say, okay, I want to go to Paris, and then you start looking at booking the flight and all that, and then you realize, wow, this is very expensive. So that's pretty much where I was. I was in a situation where I was looking at all my these destinations that I wanted to. I had a list of all these different places. I still have the list of all these different places that I want to go. But then I started looking and realizing this is very, very expensive, and travel is ridiculously expensive. And so that's where I started to think, okay, I got to figure out a way to get to these destinations, because at this point I don't have the funds to try. I would like to travel like every 3 to 4 months, but I don't have the funds to do that. So how am I going to make that? How am I going to make it possible to do that? And so that's when I started looking into travel reward points, and that's what really got me going. Because once I started looking at the travel reward points, and I started realizing that you can travel places and you don't have to spend that much money. Like, you can do it on a budget, and your airfare could be very, very reasonable. the hotel can be very reasonable. It's just a matter of how you're working your points and how you're doing that stuff. So that's kind of the way that all worked out. And so then I said, you know what? I figured it out. Like, I figured out how to. I learned how to take pictures. I learned how to do research for exploring all these different destinations. And now I have that final aspect of being able to get on a plane, moment's notice, fly across the country, and do it for $200 or $300. So after figuring that out, now it's just a matter of having the time to do it. And so it's amazing. And so when I got to starting to do this little travel blog, I started to realize, hey, you know, this information I can share with others. And you have other photographers out there that like travel photography as well as I do. Like, I'm very passionate about travel photography. I love it. I love going to all these different destinations. I love submitting my pictures in these competitions and seeing how they do. So, and I also like selling my prints too. I do that as well. But I wanted to share, like, okay, how do you get to these destinations? Because you have travel photography websites and channels on YouTube. You have travel channels on YouTube. You have some travel channels that deal with budget and how to budget travel. But I have not, to this day, I haven't seen a travel photography website that deals with the budget end of travel and then deals with the photography as well. And so that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm doing on my channel right now on YouTube, and then I also want to do it with this blog. So I also so it's a funny thing because, like, I never thought I would be doing this. I never thought I'd be traveling as much as I am. I didn't leave the country for the first time, or I should say the first time that I left the country, like physically left, like flew on a plane, not like cruises, because Los Angeles, you can take cruises to Mexico all day long. It's like a weekend cruise, party cruise. But I don't really count those. But actually leaving the country on a plane and being in that country, like staying in a hotel there or staying in Airbnb, I did that for the first time. It was about 7-8 years ago. So that was my first trip out of the country. So, and that's, you know, I'm 46 years old, so it took me a while to get around to travel. So I do want to talk a little bit about my experience in Medellin. Just a quick little kind of overview of a trip, just kind of an average trip that I take. And I usually go. I've gone solo before, but in this case I went with a buddy of mine. He's a photographer as well, and just going out. And our basic routine, we kind of have a routine set up since we both like taking pictures. You have to set it up you have to set everything up in a different way, because if you are a photographer, you don't want to go on these big tour groups, because for one, you're only there in one spot for maybe 20 or 30 minutes. You're with a group. You have to leave with that group. You usually won't be able to catch a sunset, and you don't have that flexibility. So because you don't have the flexibility, it makes it really difficult to be creative. And so unless you're going on like a photography tour, and they do have photography tours, but if you're not going on a photography tour, it's really hard to really be creative, because you're constantly moving. And you know, their whole thing with these travel groups is to get you from one spot to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, so you can finish everything up in that tour. So my usual routine, and we'll talk about Medellin because we just went there. So get off the plane. This is the first time that I stayed in an Airbnb, and I actually really like staying in an Airbnb. There are some real big benefits to it, and one is if you can get an Airbnb with a laundry, you can do your laundry so you don't have to bring as much, because you can wash your clothes. And that's really a good benefit, because I like to bring a lot of camera gear. And so I always have to balance the camera gear with the clothes. So in the situation of Airbnb, if they do have a laundry, that's really a good deal, because you can go and wash your clothes and you don't have to worry. So we were only there for 6 days, but I still just brought, I think I actually brought five different sets of clothes, and then I washed them. And so it's just, And I didn't really even need. Yeah, I probably did need to wash, because you figure the clothes that you bring, that you fly up with, you need to wash those definitely, and then the ones, so you're gonna miss a day there, and then you're there for 6 days. So um, anyhow, Medellin was a great experience, and it was one of those places that it wasn't on the top of my list until now. Now I've gone, and I will be going back and back, and there's so many different places to take pictures in Medellin, and it's not my traditional style of, like, let's say, I live about 20 minutes from the beach, so I kind of, when I started taking pictures, that's where I would go all the time. Go to the beach at sunset, go to the beach at sunset, and take pictures at sunset. So that was pretty much my thing. So that's what I really learned how to do well. There are no beaches in Medellin, but it's a nice place. There's just so much more. I mean, the buildings, they're unique. They're different than anything else that I've seen as far as like a cityscape. It's just a whole different look. You have Guatapé. You have a small town out there with nice lakes and a rock that you can climb up to the top and get a real 360-degree view. There's just so many different places, and even Medellin itself, it's in a valley, so you can go up into the hills and see a panoramic view of Medellin, and there's just so many different things, and the colors there. I'm big on colors when it comes to. I like the colors that complement each other. So the blues, the greens, the reds, the oranges, the yellows, all those colors, and you'll have a row of houses, and they'll have all those different colors, and then it'll be the backdrop is the sky, the blue sky. So it's an amazing place for photography, and I will definitely be going back more. I mean, this is one. You find destinations. Like, I thought going to Puerto Rico would be a destination that I'd go back to more, keep going back and back and back. I do like Puerto Rico, and I like it for some of the same reasons. It has that Caribbean vibe. It has the colors, the buildings, but it's just not, you cannot compare Medellin or even Cartagena. Cartagena is beautiful as well for the same reasons. It's just so colorful. It's just a colorful city. So that's pretty much where I am with that. And Medellin was great. I mean, we had a good time. Food is very inexpensive. The people are really, really friendly and always out there hoping, or open to talking with you and helping you along. We were able to get someone to take us around, so we had a guide, and that was kind of by mistake. It was an Uber driver that we just hit him up and said, hey, how about taking us around town? And so every day, our routine every day was we wake up in the morning, and just to let you know, and I don't know, I thought it was this driver at first, but it's actually kind of a thing. People in Medellin are very laid back, and timetables aren't the same. So for instance, every morning or every night before, like the night before, we'd say, hey, come pick us up. Okay, can you pick us up at 8? He said, yeah, I'll be there at 8. He wasn't there at 8. He was there at like 8:30, 8:45. He was at least, he at least let us know, like, hey, I'm on my way, or I'll be there in 5 minutes, which meant like 15. But they're always, from what I'm hearing in Medellin, they're late all the time. So you can't, if you're like punctual, and I guess in the U.S. we're more, we're punctual, like we're on time, and so just be prepared to kind of step back and realize, hey, okay, you're on vacation anyway, so you shouldn't be in a rush to get to places, but just be aware of that, because at first I thought, okay, this guy's just, he's just doesn't have the times right or whatever, but no, it wasn't that. It was just, that's the way things are. So every day we were late, but like I said, we weren't in a rush. We didn't have to be there at a certain time, so it was cool. But that's one thing that we learned. So we had a guide. He took us everywhere. We went to Guatapé. We went to all the different little towns within Medellin. and it was great because we were able just to be on our own. You don't have to worry about being with the tour group and all that. So that's one thing that I really like. Okay, so I'm babbling, so I want to go ahead and get to the most important part. That is, I want to talk a little bit about my Thailand trip. So I'll be going to Thailand in August, so next month, and I just want to show you how much I paid and how much it could have cost. And like I said, I use travel reward points. So travel credit cards, you get those. Frequent flyer points, the same thing. Or it's not the same thing, but it's very similar in that you don't need a credit card for frequent flyer points. You can just use cash, and then you know, like let's say you buy a plane ticket, you'll get points that go to your account. Then after you accrue a certain amount of points, then you're able to redeem those points. It's just like, I don't know, you get yogurt and you get the little stamp, and they stamp on your yogurt thing. Same thing. So you buy your yogurt, and then you get a free yogurt after a while. So that's the frequent flyer programs. And then you also have points, so travel reward points. So you get your points from credit cards. Generally, they'll give you bonus points. And then if you're using your credit card, then you're getting points as you use your credit card. And then you can redeem those points by transferring them to different airlines or using different travel portals that are available. So this thing that I'm going to show you here, let me switch to the desktop screen here. Okay, so we should be on desktop. Let's see here. Make sure everything's running right. Okay, so you guys see me on the desktop here. Okay, now look at all this clutter. Okay, so first thing I want to show you here is I pulled up. This is the time period that I'll be flying out. So I just pulled it up, and I wanted to pull up the cash value first. I wanted to show you guys how much I spent, or how much you would spend for the flight, a similar flight. So if you look here, I always look up here first. This is United. All airline sites, like the major ones, they pretty much are the same. They run the same way. So they're going to show you at the top here. They're going to show you where my mouse is, if you can see it here. They're going to show you the lowest rate. So the lowest rate for Wednesday, August 8th, is $2,600.39. That's a round trip ticket, and that's economy to Thailand, so Thailand and back. And these are some of the other rates. So now, you know, they're not all the same. So the cheapest rate you're going to get is $2,600. So we know that now. Now let me show you what I did using points. Okay, so the first flight out, and what I had to do too, let me kind of explain this too. I had to book on 2 different airlines. So I did a one-way ticket up, or that makes sense. So I did a ticket up, that's one way, and then a ticket back, that's another way. So I used 2 different airlines. The reason that I did that is I split my points up. So United, I had 75,000 points to United, and then I had 50,000 points sitting around on my Alaska Airlines. And so I wanted to use both of those, so that's why I did this. So United, flight up. Now let's see. So, and I've whited out some of this stuff, so because obviously it's my personal stuff, so I don't want to show you guys all that. But if you look here, 75,000 miles is what I use. So 75,000 miles, 75,000 points. So generally, depending on what credit card you get, some credit cards you can get, like if they're doing a special, like a special bonus, they'll give you 100,000 points if you spend a certain amount of money in 3 months. In this situation, I have a lot of points already, so I just transfer my points over from my Chase Sapphire Preferred. Just transferred them over to United, directly to United, and then I was able to make this purchase. So 75,000 miles, 75,000 points, and then $20.80. Now, if you want to know the value, just kind of a rule of thumb, the value, I always look at the value the same. It doesn't matter how many points, like where the points are coming from. I always kind of use my own little gauge, and that is, if it's 75,000 points, that's equivalent to $750. That's the way that I look at it. Okay. Now, if I were able to book a flight, a one-way flight, for cheaper than $750, then I'm going to use cash. I'm not going to use these points, because the bare minimum of the bare minimum value of those points is $750. I can get more value Like in this case, I'm getting more value than 700. I'm using 750 or 75,000 points, but I'm getting more value than $750, if that makes sense. So let's say, what did we say? 2,600. What's half that? $1,300. So we have $1,300 is the cash value, right? The point value here is 75,000 points is what I'm using. So if that's 75,000 points, that's only $750 worth of points to me, and I'm still getting that $1,300 value because I'm flying for free. And actually, I'm getting more, and I'll show you how I'm getting more in a minute. So if you guys don't understand what I'm saying, just post in the comments, and we'll talk about it. Post in the chat, and we can discuss it a little further. But I just want to make sure you guys understand that there are values that I do look for. So if I don't have that value, like if that plane ticket's only $500 and I'm using 75,000 points to book that, then I'm not going to book it. I'm going to use cash to book it, because I'll save that 75,000 points and use that when my ticket is, you know, $1,300 or more, because then it makes sense. Okay, so 75,000 points and then $20.80. So that's what I'm spending. So out of pocket cash, I'm spending $20.80. Okay, so that's the flight up. Now the flight back, it's going to be Alaska, and it's not actually Alaska Airlines. It's on Hainan. So Alaska is a partner with that airline, and so that's how I'm able to fly that way. So looking at this, let's see, is it okay? It's down here. So I'm using a total of 50,000 points. Okay, so for me in my head, I'm calculating, okay, that's $500. And I won't go into Alaska's, I mean, it's pretty much the same. The flight back is pretty much the same price as the flight up. So I gave you kind of an overall with United. The overall round trip ticket's like $2,600. So let's say roughly $1,300, $1,300 one-way ticket. Okay, so right here, 50,000 miles is what I use, so 50,000 points. And I had those points just sitting around in my Alaska Airlines account. They've been there for almost 2 years now. When I first started getting into these travel war points, I was able to get those points in the account. And it's, to make a long story short, Virgin America is now part of Alaska. I had money, or I had points that I transferred over to Virgin America, and then from Virgin America I just transferred them over to Alaska. They were giving us a bonus, so 25,000 points at that time, you could transfer it over and double your points. So that's how I got the 50,000. So I have 50,000 points here, and then it cost me for taxes and fees. So taxes and fees for the other one you saw was $20.80. Taxes and fees for this one are $274.61. So you can see there's a difference, right, with taxes and fees, and it varies. I've flown on British Airways before. I flew first class British Airways. That was an experience of a lifetime. Coming back from Paris, and it was like $600 for taxes and fees. So it just depends. It depends on the airline. Some airlines charge more, some airlines charge less. It just depends. So $274 for that, and then another $20 on top of that. So roughly almost $300 is what I'm spending for a trip to Thailand. Okay. Now, one other two that I want to show you. So we looked at the 2,600, right? That's an economy flight, right? Now, the flights that I'm taking to Thailand with using points, they're mixed cabin. And what mixed cabin means is you can fly, part of it will be business class, and then the other part will be economy or coach. So in my flight up, I'll be flying mixed cabin. Actually, my flight up and my flight back. So I'll be flying some business class. So realistically, I should be looking in this column here. Okay, this 4,900. That's closer to where I am. Okay, because I'm flying almost an identical flight to, I have to look for it. I don't see the exact one. It's probably closer to this one, but it's a mixed flight. So we'll just look at this mixed cabin here, or the other mixed cabin here, these mixed cabins. So flying up, I think, let me show you here. I'll be flying San Francisco here. So my first flight is at 6:50 a.m. and that will be United. I'll be going to San Francisco. So I'll go to San Francisco, and then I'll have a little layover. It's like 4-hour layover, which is fine because if you have lounge access, you go to the lounge, hang out for a couple of hours, and then you get back and get ready for your flight. And then from San Francisco, so that flight right there is going to be just a regular economy flight. And then from San Francisco to Shanghai, that's going to be my business class. So I'll be flying business class there. And that's the long haul. That's where you want to fly business class. And it'll be nice. It'll have the lie flat seats so you can lay down and go to sleep. It's like I think it's like a 13-hour flight, something like that. 11 hours, yeah, 13 hours. So 13-hour flight. And then I'll have a 2-hour layover in Shanghai, and then from Shanghai, then I'll be going into Phuket, and that'll be just an economy flight there. Okay? Now, return flight, I'll also be doing a mixed cabin. This one is not as good as the others. This mixed cabin here, we're looking at business class. It's Hainan Air, so business class on your first leg, and I think that's about a 5 to 6 hour flight there. And it's the same thing, lie flat seats. It'll be pretty nice. And then my long haul though, my 11-hour, 12-hour flight, that one's going to be economy. So I'm just hoping and praying that there's a seat open next to me. It's a Dreamliner, so it's one of those 787s, real big plane. Usually they have a little extra room, so let's just hope that they do. And then once I get to San Jose, then I'll have a little short flight, and that one will be first class, business class. There's really, I mean, the plane is so small you can't even call it first class. It's like a business class seat. It's the seats that are up in the front that have a little more leg room, a little extra, cushion on your seats. So that's pretty much it. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys that. If you guys have any questions, I'll be on for a few more minutes, so you can put in the chat. But it's just I'm going to be doing more of these every Monday. I'll be doing it at 6 p.m. I tried to do one earlier today at 6 p.m. for whatever reason. I'm hoping the sound is fine now, but it was really, really laggy. I mean, it was, you couldn't even hear what I was saying. I'd say one word and it'd keep jumping back and forth. So I'm hoping everything's okay. Let me know, guys, if everything's okay, if you can hear everything. And so every Monday I'll be doing one, and that way I can give you guys just more information. So mainly travel and photography. We'll talk about, even if I mean, I don't want to have this focus specifically on like professional photographers or people who take pictures and sell their prints, and I don't want to make it specific to that. I want to talk more about just how to take better pictures, and for everyone. We all have phones now, we all have cameras, so we're all out there taking pictures. And you go to any tourist area, and you'll see people taking pictures with their phone and all that, and everybody wants to be on Instagram and all that stuff. So I just want to focus more on how to show you guys how to take better pictures, to show you guys how to do this traveling on a budget to get to all these different destinations. Once you get there, how to explore the area, because there's so much stuff out there. And one of the things that really let me switch the screen. One of the things that really is interesting is the fact you get to all these destinations and then you don't know what to do when you get there, because you're overwhelmed. Like I don't know, I'll speak for myself. When I get places, I'm overwhelmed. Like I get there and it's like, I'm just looking around all these different places and I don't know exactly where to go. I don't know where to eat. I don't know. There are so many different things that I don't know how to do or know what to do first. So it's always good to set up kind of a plan of what you want to do, and then it's not always going to go as planned, but just at least have an idea of what you want to do. Use how to use Google Maps offline. Just different things like that will really, really help you out. How to find a guide, like I was talking about earlier. We had a guide in Medellin, and this guy took us everywhere. And basically, I mean, he wasn't like, he just knows the city, right? He drives Uber, so he's out there driving all the time. And the thing about Uber's not legal out in Medellin, but people still use Uber. You just can't take it from the airport. But how to work that out. Like you just need to know where to go and how to get there. And I'm really big on doing things that locals do. So I don't want to just get the whole tourist experience. I want to get an experience of what are the local people doing, where are they going, where are their, you know, the hidden spots, that kind of stuff, because that's where I want to take pictures, at the hidden spots. So, all right, I've talked too long. I will go ahead and end this for now, and every Monday, remember, every Monday at 6 p.m. we'll be on here and we'll be chatting. And I want to make this more of like a group thing. So I want more feedback. People talk about different destinations, places that different people have gone to. I'm really big on South America. I love it. South America, Central America. I have a good time every time I go out there. So I do want to talk about that a lot. So if you guys have experience with that, please post in the comments below, and we can definitely talk about that. If you have questions or if you have ideas for future streams, please post in the comments below, and I'll try to see if I can get those in here too, because I want to really start talking about different things. And at this point, I have a lot of things in my head, but I don't know if it makes sense or if people want to listen to that. So I have for now. Please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to do that. And like this video, definitely give me a thumbs up. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. You can also check out my channel. I mean, I have a variety of different videos on, a lot of videos on travel rewards credit cards, videos on photography, some just different stuff where I'm out and about doing my little vlogging. So just make sure you check it out. And I will talk to you guys in the next one.